Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
Yeah, and you, God, I just can't. Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet, yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done. You just said, remember, people in her district know this about QAnon Queen here and still vote for her deranged ass. That's why voters need to overwhelm the cowards and crazies in Georgia. We can't run the Jewish space lasers alone. That's true. It takes a village, doesn't it, to run one properly?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get the aim just right, you've got.
For instance, when you were starting the wildfires out here with your Jewish space laser,
it's always the Jews. Really, probably not the right day to be saying
really
that.
True.
Yeah, sorry if I pull that back. It was a sarcastic comment, but let's.
By the way, but as Trump says he would revoke the temporary protective status of Haitian migrants in Springfield, and you just said, Trump, I will wreck Springfield, Ohio, because I'm an effing racist, and so are all the people who vote for me. I mean, that's what it's gotten down to. I think it is profoundly depressing, however many people. It is a moral failing at this point if you vote for him now.
Yes. I just love the idea that the outrage that he generates, because you know that there are tons of people, tons of white people in Springfield who had no problem at all with with their Haitian neighbors, with the Haitian workers, who until Trump came along and said, you really ought to be upset about that, and then all of a sudden they thought, yeah, you know what, I should be upset about that, even though I wasn't before and it didn't bother me at all.
On cue, a suspect has been arrested in the geese killing that was used as racist propaganda against Haitian Americans. It was a 64-year-old, wait for it, white man, of course. I mean, that Trump can get away with telling his crowd Democrats are trying to kill me when it's a 20-year-old registered Republican and a guy that voted for him and then was for Haley and Ramaswamy. In what universe are those liberals, right? But his crowd just, okay.
Yeah, or Eric Trump getting out there and saying that it was that the Democrats tried to kill him, but of course they're Democrats, so they couldn't do it right. And it's like, no, we're not trying to kill him. That's your people. That's your crazy MFers with all their guns. And some of the crazy MFers think that your guy is, that they're crazy enough to go after him.
By the way, Eric's the one that said half his ear was missing. I have to tell you, Rude, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, nor are a lot of people I know that are very smart. I was with another friend yesterday. I mean, the fact that at least half the world thinks he faked these assassination attempts, because it's Trump, is sort of astounding, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think that they got some kind of fake ear that they've now just put on there, that it really was that bad. And at some point at some rally, he'll sweat so much that half the ear just falls off.
Yes, who was this? Oh, good God above said, when it comes out that Donald Trump faked his own assassination attempt to try to win the election and sacrificed one of his own to make it look real, will his cult members even care? Probably not. I mean, there's just nothing you would disbelieve at this point about Trump,
No. I mean, because every time you hear something about him, it's always that much more awful than everything that you've heard before. And now every time he gets out and makes a speech, it's always that much more awful than what he said before.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point he's just going to start shouting the N-word, and the media will say, "Look how brave he is, appealing to his base."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He just says what I'm thinking. Yeah. Oh my God, rudeness. Yeah, you said. Oh, by the way, I'm not buying your stupid book in honor of Melania. I'm glad that we all called Bolt on her pro-choice stance right before the election. It's just like, oh God, they're all such grifters.
Yep.
You said, have we all lost our minds? Trump's response to Melania Trump's support for abortion rights is you have to go with your heart, then implying she has the right to choose. You could also call that pro-choice. I mean... Everything is calculated to make it look like he's softening on abortion, or look, his wife doesn't know. I think his wife thinks he's a despicable piece of, just like the rest of us do.
She wants to go to the good parties again.
Yeah. Well, but she would like to retain her what kind of rights?
Individual.
Okay.
Yes. And what was another thing that came out in her book, that Trump invited her to watch them blow up someone with a drone, and it was like
She's just as bad.
I guess that's a date in Trump land.
She's just as bad as he is. You also said if a judge had declared a Democratic candidate as a rapist, you would hear that in every ad and every speech from their GOP opponent. Why aren't Democrats doing that or doing it a lot more with Trump? It's like we have this giant cannon and refuse to use it in the war. I do it as often as I possibly can, Rude, but I take your point.
Well, and it rhymes with racist, so it's very easy to keep in mind.
You can't really misspeak. Sometimes I misspeak, and I say rapist when I meant racist, and racist when I meant rapist. Fortunately,
It's okay.
yeah.
He's both. So
One and the
it
same.
works either way. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, no. The thing is like people said, well, the whole Access Hollywood tape that didn't work, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but the thing is you keep saying it over and over, and this one has a judge and a jury declaring this, and so that you only ever associate that with him. I mean, and that's a whole lot more uncomfortable than the Access Hollywood tape because it's a whole lot more dangerous and a whole. Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous that he ever accidentally got installed in 2016, but now 34 felony convictions and a rape conviction later, it is just I don't even know what to say. And how Miles, by the way, any like appearance I've seen Kamala Harris make, you're like, oh my God, she so miles beyond. I don't even know what to say, just in intellect and everything. So, by the way, so have we still gotten the Kamala Harris is not doing it right, or she's playing it safe, or something? Rick Stengel said Harris is not playing it safe with her media strategy, but playing it smart. There are no undecideds or stay-at-home voters watching cable news networks or the Sunday shows. How do you reach voters who don't follow the news? Well, not on news, that's for sure. So she's going this week on The View, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Howard Stern tomorrow, and then she was on 60 Minutes. Yeah,
It'll air tonight.
Right, that will air tonight, and then also Univision Town Hall on Thursday. I mean, is that enough interviews for you, mainstream media, or
and she
no?
went on one of the biggest podcasts in the world, and that's incredibly popular with Gen Z women.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna say Howard Stern's a tough interview, that's the thing that people don't understand. Is that when you hear Howard Stern doing a serious interview, the guy does his homework, and he doesn't let people off the hook, and he will keep going. This is not taking the easy route. And I love that Tim Walz is going on Smartless.
I love Smartless. It's such a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a cushier gig than going on Howard Stern, but it's reaching a whole bunch of people that might not otherwise be paying attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew about that podcast as a Gen Z woman.
You're a millennial.
Oh my God, you are so not Gen Z.
You're a millennial, remember?
Even at your Carol Burnett age, you're not Gen Z.
Oh, rude.
Yes. You know what? You're always Gen Z to me.
Oh,
Thank
God.
you.
Do not encourage that.
Okay, rudeness.
She's not in her 30s or her 50s.
Yes.
Speaking of
Yes.
mainstream media.
In my heart, you will always be Gen Z.
Oh, God.
Okay.
In my loins, millennial, but in my heart.
Shut up. Okay. You retweeted the, Stephanopoulos. Can you say unequivocally Joe Biden won the 2020 election and Trump lost? Mike Johnson. Well, see, this is the game that's always played by mainstream media with mainstream Republicans. It's a gotcha game. No. And you just said if Johnson had said, yep, that would have been that. But if you don't want Trump to send his MAGA animals after you, you're not allowed to say he's a loser. I mean, Rude, I was thinking this weekend, he's just a cancer. Mm-hmm. He is a cancer that has infected an entire party and half our country.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous that they cannot answer the question, did Trump lose? And it's got to be embarrassing. I mean, it's at some point, I know they're mostly incapable of feeling shame, but at some point when somebody's asking you a blatant fact, what am I sitting in a chair? Well, you're asking me a gotcha question there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people might call it a chair, but the liberal media might call it a chair, but I might call it a butt support.
But it's Trump that keeps talking about it. That's why they have to ask Republicans, because he's the one that won't let it. It's like, oh, the media won't let this go. No, Trump won't let it go. He keeps repeating it over and over again. I mean,
Yeah, and that was something Stephanopoulos kept coming back to, when they keep saying, well, we're looking to the future. We want to talk about the problems of the American people. And Stephanopoulos kept saying, no, you don't understand. Donald Trump keeps saying this unprompted in his rallies.
yeah. Did you happen to
it's
see?
obviously a current thing on his mind.
Yeah. Did you happen to see Caroline Giuliani anywhere on TV? I just was
No.
I was so struck because it's, it hit home for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, just about how he has ripped so many families apart. Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I read her piece.
you might think he's despicable, but he's still her dad. And I was so struck by one question. They said, "What's it like when do you talk to him about how you feel about all these things?" And she said, "Well, yeah, but talking to him, it's he's like the same as when he's on camera."
Oh, God.
I mean, it's like people don't even know how to relate to the people they love anymore because they're in a cult of Trump, right?
That's actually the saddest thing I've heard is
I know.
that it's not an act. Oh my, that's just pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, F Giuliani in lots of ways, in most ways, but just as a sense of the loss that a child will feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, we've seen there's been documentaries made about people that have essentially lost their parents,
Friends, family,
to
yeah.
Fox News bubble.
Here. Yeah.
And the lack of reality.
Yeah. And the other thing, the hypocrisy, Rude, I guess we were talking about Supreme Court on Friday, just the hypocrisy all the way up to the Supreme Court. This whole, let the states decide makes me insane that they have, said about Roe. And then when some states said, we don't want an insurrectionist on the ballot, you shouldn't be allowed to run for president if you've tried to overthrow the government of the United States. They're like, oh, no, states can't decide that. I mean, they have they just have no shame. They're complete hypocrites on every subject. And then when they do a national abortion ban, they'll be like, oh, well, we didn't really mean let the states, not this,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the states obviously decided by electing these people that would pass a national abortion ban. They'll contort it in some way, It's self-fellatio over and over and over with them.
I knew we would end on that note. So on that note,
You knew we would
filthy,
end on
filthy
self-fellatio.
hobo.
That's how far
Something
ahead
filthy.
you were.
I knew we would end on something
Oh,
filthy.
okay. I thought you reached your hand into a hat that had different phrases in there, and today picked out self-fellatio.
No, it's always a happy ending with you. I'm not saying it's not a happy ending. I just knew it would be filthy.
That's good. That's good. Well, you know what? It's time for us to get the towels.
Sock on the door
And,
is all crusty.
don't swab off on the curtains.
All right, goodbye. Get out.
There's no denying it, the vibes are really good right now. But vibes alone won't save our democracy. We need votes. At the Grassroots Democrats HQ, we know what it takes to win elections. Knocking doors, making calls, sending texts, and writing postcards. If we're going to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and give them the Democratic Congress to pass their agenda, then we need to roll up our sleeves and talk to a record number of voters between now and November 5th. But let's be clear, we can't do it without you. So, are you ready to work? This is a fight for freedom and our future, and everything is at stake. Don't wake up on November 6th wishing you had done more. Join us. Go to grassrootsdems.org today to sign up to volunteer, and let's go win this thing.